All right. Welcome. This is the Ask Me Anything Live for May 18th. David, you just asked a great question about licensing, and this is important for other people to hear too, because licensing, which is, it's a common thing, and especially for people that have developed established programs, established content, being able to license that to others is important. And there are often people can mix up certification programs, licensing programs, and franchise systems. So it's, and you don't want to accidentally get into the mode of creating a franchise because that's federally regulated. I think in your content, if you're licensing to one specific provider, that's a lot more straightforward. But you are going to need somebody licensed in your state to be able to deal with that issue. So the short of it is I'm not going to be qualified to answer that for your scenario. And I can't remember, I think I reached out to my listserv. Sometimes I am able to come up with referrals for people. Sometimes I'm not. Let me try again, and I'm just going to put a note to myself here in my email to reach out and see if I can get my listserv to. Sometimes people see questions. I think sometimes they miss them because there's a lot of traffic.
Sure.
But let me ask again on that and see if I can get you connected to somebody in Pennsylvania that does licensing.
Do you have a list of things that I should be paying attention to when I do that?
I mean, I've drafted licensing contracts before. They're very, very detailed, long agreements. And so that, unfortunately, David, is not something that I could quickly cover in a call like this. I mean,
Okay.
generally with licensing, so the trick is that you need to maintain some control over the content. You want the right to review what somebody's doing with your program to make sure that they're not using it outside of the terms of the license, right? But also, is it going to be, if they're using because are they delivering the program? How would it actually work from the standpoint of delivery?
It's complicated.
Yeah. So
So
for
they're
example,
bundling, they
mm-hmm,
would bundle my service with
mm-hmm,
a gaggle of other services not similar to mine,
mm-hmm,
and then present that to the potential buyer, who's a company
mm-hmm.
of bundled services, and they buy it for their employees. So
But
it gets
would you be
complicated.
delivering it live?
Um,
Or is it
it's
a pre-recorded content they get access to?
pre-recorded and
Pre-record.
potentially live.
Yeah.
So both.
Yeah. So it's a complex scenario, and I'd want you to walk through it with somebody that's looking at that specifically. There's a lot of potential pitfalls in licensing. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna have to just say great question, and I'm probably not able to help you with that on this call.
Okay.
All right. But I'll see if I can get you connected somebody there in Pennsylvania who can help you with licensing.
So is
Um,
it state specific? I mean, the license, I am the licensor. The licensee would be anywhere in the country in Canada.
hmm
So
Well,
would
and
it,
my question is whether or not the middleman really would need to be a part of the licensing agreement, or whether they're just, they bring people in to either enroll in the services or, and I don't know the mechanism. I haven't dealt directly with folks and I forget what you call that, the employee services or employee
employee
um,
assistance program?
assistance program. Yeah, the EAP.
Yeah.
Um, so there might be a standard way that that's already done, and there's standard terms that those programs have in place for any of their providers that work through their
Yeah.
service, right? So it may be that you don't create your own, that they already have a system for handling that. And
Okay.
that would be one question that I would ask them directly.
Okay.
Okay. But we can also connect outside of this call, and I'll see. I have a note to myself to ping my listserv to see if we can get you connected to somebody in
Sure.
Pennsylvania that
Yeah,
can
that'd
help
be
answer
great.
that. Okay.
Because that
Um,
wouldn't be state specific, I don't think.
yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
licenses generally you have parameters around all the stuff, how long somebody can use it, under what terms, and you have a lot of that really spelled out. So,
Right.
yeah. You just have to find out, do the parties that are the kind of the brokers, the middleman for that, do they have standard terms that just apply to all providers through their system, or do you come with your own licensing agreement?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good.
All right. Good question. Anybody else? Stacy, I saw your hand.
Yeah,
Hi,
I've got
Anne. Good to
how
see you again.
how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Oh, hi. And I'm just going to acknowledge we've got Kelly and Jessica. Welcome, ladies. And Steve, now I see your name. Thanks for typing your name in there. All right, Stacy, what question do you have?
So I'm questions on NDAs.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm just trying to get people to come aboard or to
Yeah.
learn about what I'm doing and see if they have an interest in joining me or possibly being like a beta member,
Yep.
should I have this NDA thing that they sign before I even tell them what I'm doing? Um,
So let's talk. Yeah, that's a great question. So, for anybody that doesn't know, Stacy works in the financial arena. So your advice would be, and let me just ask you a little bit about your enrolling conversations. Are you doing a lot of disclosures in those conversations about your systems or proprietary information, or is it more like, here's the outcomes, here's how we'd work together? Like, talk to me about what they're learning in those early conversations.
Well, so right now I'm working with like a marketing strategist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hiring him like I would hire you or hire anybody else that
Mm-hmm.
does their little part of it. So I'm just wondering, like I'm disclosing in this.
Oh, got it. So you're talking about people who are coming on to support your business.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yeah, like
Not
I
clients.
wrote out like this
Yep.
whole thing of what it's going to look like. And I'm like, well, if somebody else decides they want to just do it, I'm just giving them my whole blueprint.
Got it. Yes. So in those circumstances, a couple things. Usually providers in the marketplace, so like your marketing person, did they come with their own standard contract?
Basically, we just had conversations and then I have
Okay.
like a follow-up appointment. So I'm going to
Okay.
email him my whole document, but I'm thinking, should I have him sign something prior
Yes,
to
you
this?
should. Yes, you should. So, for a couple of reasons. One, because you don't know who else he's working with, and he could be like, "Oh, I talked to Stacy, and here's her whole system," right? If he goes on to work with somebody else in the financial arena. So, for anybody, especially when they're coming on to support the development or build out of your business or growth in any way, and they're going to see some of your proprietary information or be exposed to your whole system or your client database or any of that stuff, yes, you would want an NDA in place. And it could be fairly straightforward. I've got, I'll pop some links into my online, because I've got a lot of templates, including NDAs for both situations like this or NDAs that like pertain to like a mastermind. You've got a whole group coming together that are going to be sharing information, right, respectively about all their businesses, and you want to make sure it doesn't leave the group. So there's a lot of different ways that you would need NDAs just to make sure. And here's the thing, let's be clear that a lot of people do business without this stuff, right? I'm not a sky is falling person. And at the same time, all it takes is one thing going really badly wrong for somebody to go, man, I wish I had an NDA, right? And so that's the thing. It's not everybody needs them. It's not how everybody does business, but it sure is helpful to make sure that you're on the same page if there's any doubt about how somebody might use your information after that engagement. So I just dropped a link into my individual templates. You're going to see probably a couple of NDAs there. You're welcome to email me if you have any questions or you need more information about what they apply to. But yes, anytime you're hiring somebody to come in and like basically have an insider's look at what's going on in your business, a simple NDA is always advisable. And the reason I asked, did they come in with their own standard forms, is because people who are really heavily in the marketplace, meaning that they have worked with a lot of businesses and like they get used to building that stuff into their own standard contract, right? So like in the course of our agreement, I will be exposed to some of your proprietary information. I acknowledge and agree that I will not disclose it to any party for any reason whatsoever, right? Blah, blah, blah. A lot of service providers will have language like that built into their documents, but they've probably been in the marketplace for a while and they've also probably worked with pretty savvy clients. So if they don't have that, you want to make sure that they have their own. Does that help?
It does. I just had one other follow-up to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking to partner with like a Susie Orman type of person who already has this. I'm just looking at it now. She has this must-have documents thing that she's selling on HSN, and
Okay.
my sister actually bought it, and I've been looking at it from the inside.
And what's HSN?
Home Shopping Network.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So, but anyway, I think it might serve a purpose for partially what I'm trying to do with people is give them a resource
Got
to
it. So
be
you'd
able
be like an
to.
affiliate for that?
Right. So I'm just going to say, how would you recommend I broach the subject? Try to.
Are you talking about in your interactions with them or through making that offer to your clients?
Well, I kind of like both ways. Like, I don't think I should just offer her program and use her program. I mean, I could use her program, I guess, as
And let me just ask you, is it like a template bundle or is it an actual course or program?
it's a program that that you can do up to like 10 trusts, living trusts, and all that, and all the
Mm-hmm.
other documents that you
Mm-hmm.
need per account, and the account costs you like $80.
Got it.
And
Um,
so she's really getting people like to do it. Like, she's not making money on this, right?
yeah,
So I was wondering if I could get it, maybe I can get it white labeled, or because I really don't want to make people think I work for Susie Orman or
right.
something. But I just wondered if you had any kind of magic words that would be a good, what that would be called.
Um, well, so it partly depends on, have you reached out to them? You said you've got a call scheduled or?
No, I'm just
No.
contemplating making that call.
Oh, got it,
But
got it, got
right
it.
now I'm just looking through the whole website and seeing I'm liking what I see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and if it's an offer that is really aligned to what you do, you feel like there's a lot of value there. Is it the same as what you do, or is it like supplemental to what you teach and what you
It's the
do?
missing piece to what I'm doing. Like, I'm telling them they need this, and here's like a
Got it.
resource.
So
Here's
you're
what
providing the education. You're not providing the documents that they actually need, right?
because I'm
Okay.
not an attorney.
The tools, right, right. So, I mean, one way you could do it is as an affiliate, right? Where essentially they keep their branding the same. They're in charge of the offer. They're in charge of everything that they say inside of that course. And you just say, look, here's one resource in the marketplace that based on my review, I really like. I cannot tell you that's an absolute fit based on your own scenario, right? Because you're not an attorney. So you have to stay very far away from like, yes, this is perfect for you and you and you and you, right? You could definitely say like, here's a resource. Here's what I think is good about it. I cannot guarantee that it's a perfect fit for everybody that goes through it, right? You're always advised to consult with somebody in your own state because when it gets into legal stuff, it's really, really tricky. I mean, even I who provide legal services, right? Best case scenario is that everybody has an attorney in their own state if they've got local business issues. And estate planning is state regulated. Like there's state laws that are associated with all of that. And so I'm familiar with Suze Orman's work. I'm familiar. She had an attorney out of California that she'd
Yeah.
offer. Is it the same one? She'd offered kits through her website by this woman. I could probably look up her name. But what I do know is that there are plenty of people that would not be a fit for. They don't need to do a whole lot of effort to avoid probate in their state if their probate is a lot less cumbersome than other states' probate. Some states are friendly, some are not. And so there's not a one size fits all when it comes to that type of advice. But what I could see you doing is saying, look, here's generally, from the educational standpoint, here's generally what you need. Here's generally what I recommend. Here's what typically is a fit for most people. It totally could be case specific depending on where you're based. And so I recommend my program as a starting point to get educated. And then here are some additional questions you might need to be asking, right?
Yeah.
About unknowns, about like what else they should be looking into, and say, here's one resource. This might be a fit. And you might find others out there, right? There might be other resources. And that's one of the things I do. So for example, when people connect with me, certainly I can help them often with a certain portion of their legal needs, and I let them know, there are different ways to approach this, and here's what's available in the marketplace. Here's an option, here's an option, here's an option. A lot of attorneys are not willing to do that. But I live in the world of being very practical, where I recognize most entrepreneurs that I serve are not going to go hire an attorney one-on-one for all their legal needs. It's just not going to happen. So they need at least some education to get started to be able to make better decisions for themselves. And I think that's very similar to what you're doing, is you could say, look, here's some education that you need. I can't say that it's a perfect fit. Here's some additional questions you could be asking. Here's some resources in the marketplace, right? Because I wouldn't want you to be giving people advice or telling them, yes, this is a perfect offer, or this does exactly what it needs to do, because you don't know, right? It's the same reason that on websites, for any of us who give advice, we might say, like, yes, our information is as complete and detailed as possible. I know that we all work really hard to be very complete in the information we provide, but certainly disclaimers on your website should say this information is presented as is. It's educational and informational only, right? It is not, we do not guarantee its completeness or accuracy, because you don't know who's consuming it on the other end. So you can never guarantee that your information is complete or accurate, because you don't know who's consuming it. So that's just a way to, again, provide general education, offer up resources, but still use language that says this may not be a fit for you. And I'm just a believer in being really direct, even in the sales conversation, even if we really think something would help somebody, to also let them know if there are potential pitfalls, or if there's an additional level of risk or additional level of investigation that they need to be doing for themselves.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Just being able to talk it through.
Yeah, totally.
With somebody who knows. I could talk it through with people that don't know all day long.
Yeah. And remind me, because you're licensed, right? You're licensed in the professional world?
Yeah, except for that's not what I'm doing. My new thing,
right,
based on the fact that I have 30 years experience in the financial
right.
services arena, is getting people to take a look and get all of their important documents
all put together,
up to date, in one place, have the conversations, and I'm going to do it through an online course.
Right, which I totally understand. Yeah, the reason I asked about licensure is because people in particular who are a licensed professional, right, state regulated license, you have to be very careful about presenting information, including affiliate stuff, which is another reason why I'd be less inclined to white label something like that, or even look for a white label scenario, because putting a stamp of approval on somebody else's system, if you're a licensed you just have an extra layer. Like I would keep a little more distance between you and what other people do, for the reason of, being able to educate them, but not saying, yes, this is a perfect fit for you. This is just a resource in the marketplace. Could help. Seems reasonable. Right. I don't know.
And then that disclosure, as far as if it is an affiliate program, where I notice people put, I may or may not be compensated.
Totally.
Anything that I recommend to you, something like that?
Yeah, may or may not. So here's the thing about disclosures, and really any type of disclosures. Let's be clear that the FTC, if there's a link that you're providing, if there's a testimonial that you're providing, if you, and whether that testimonial is given freely or you are getting some kind of kickback, like I try to be very clear both ways. Like if I send a link to my list and it's not an affiliate, I'll say, this is not an affiliate link. I just love this person's work, right? And that way there's just no question. People don't wonder, like, is this an affiliate link and she just forgot to tell me? Or vice versa, here's a link. Usually, I'm sure that there have been times I'm not perfect. If it's an affiliate link, I say, this is an affiliate link. Put it somewhere very close to that sentence, even in parenthesis, like, I love Jay's work. Like, people who are on my list know that I am a big fan of Jay Facette, because he brings people together to build businesses and, teaches them about how to do that in a way that makes it easier. And so I regularly have shared lots of Jay's events, and usually I try to say this is an affiliate link. And even if it goes to like a freebie thing, if it's an affiliate link, somebody then ends up inside their system being tracked. And if there's a sale down the road, there's a potential to make money, right? So it's just always, in my mind, more disclosure is better, and you need to have it close by. People should not have to go hunt for disclosures. They should not have to go hunt for language that clarifies for them whether it's an affiliate link or not. Or if you're providing a testimonial, like, I'm an actual user of the service, this is my real testimonial, versus I was paid or I received something in exchange for providing this testimonial. You have to be very clear if you're endorsing another product or service, what the conditions of that are. And that includes, by the way, for people that are on this call, if you're a friend with somebody in business or you have a family member doing something and you provide a testimonial for them, that relationship should be disclosed. Like, this is my friend, I've known them for 10 years, or this is a family member. And I saw this recently. One of my clients is launching an app. And his mom, who's well known in her industry, provided a testimonial on his website. And there's no disclosure that that's his mom. And under the FTC, that would violate those rules about disclosing pre-existing relationships, right? So from the standpoint of the FTC, which is the online consumer watchdog in the United States, you just want to be really clear that, like, is there any information about this scenario that somebody would need to know for it to be transparent? You want everything to be fully transparent. So I'll get off my little soapbox, but that's the thing about disclosures.
Right. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. All right. And it looks like we've got Clarencia on the call as well. But who is next as far as questions? Oh, Kelly, hi. And I'm going to switch back to gallery view because then people go away. All right.
Hello.
Yes, Anne, go for it.
Sorry, maybe it was for me.
Was Anne first? Perfect. Let's go Anne and then Kelly, because I think Anne had maybe commented in the box.
Yeah, I just so I'm in the middle of a launch, actually. I'm doing a
Congrats.
challenge that started today, and it just exploded, actually. I have like over 800 people in it now.
Anne! Round of applause for Anne. That's awesome.
And I have a question, and I have a big affiliate who's responsible for a lot of them. So,
Okay.
And I did do like the affiliate agreement with them, real good and clear. I don't know that I don't think I have everything set up on the website completely, but I'm kind of, I'll get on top of that. My question is about the disclosing. Like right now, all they're promoting is the free thing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So how do we, and it's basically, it's a challenge into a webinar that's also free. And then I'm making the offer, right? I don't know that they're actually going to do anything promoting the paid product. They may not do anything. Right. But they are promoting. So where does do you know what I mean? Like, where does the disclosing go in when they're not actually directly promoting the paid product?
Totally. And that's a great question. So let me ask you this. If somebody sends you a lead, right? If an affiliate sends you a lead, even through the free opt-in or the freebie,
right? And
they get tracked through your system, when you make the sale, does that person get some money?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So they need to be disclosing that it's an affiliate link, even to any freebie. This is why if there is at any point any money related to somebody using that link, and the answer is usually yes in the affiliate world, then an affiliate disclosure should be made.
So, but is it as simple as for something like that, where they're not making a direct pitch? Is it as simple as just saying, here's my affiliate link?
Totally.
Right?
Here's my affiliate link.
Okay.
Or this is a freebie, this is a free offer, but please know this is an affiliate link, right? So I'll often do this, like, this is free, this course is free, or this thing is free, but this is my affiliate link.
Right. Okay. And I'm just trying to think. So there doesn't have to be anything on like the actual order page or anything like that. If they're not really, I just want to make sure I'm covering my bases of what needs to be there, because it's not a straight pitch here, go buy this.
Totally. Yes, right? Totally. So as far as disclosures and where things show up, right? So if somebody, let's go kind of from the front end of the funnel to the back, right? Front end is that somebody does a mailing for you, or they post online and say, join Anne's free thing, right? Right. They should disclose at that point that it's an affiliate link. So somebody clicks there, they come to your page that has the freebie, right? Definitely on your page, you should have website terms and conditions. You should certainly have your privacy policy, because you're collecting information from them at that point, right? So they opt in, then they're inside your system. So the only thing that you need to have on the sales page, right, when you're actually making, let's say you have, your 5-day challenge or whatever, the freebie thing, it leads to a masterclass, which makes an offer, right? So it's like a webinar style, and then that's where the sales take place. Presumably you've got a landing page that they're gonna access to do that, to purchase something. That's where you have your terms of purchase in place, right? So that's terms of purchase specific to that sale. But those don't show up except at or immediately before the point of purchase. You're only disclosing the terms of purchase to people who are actually trying to purchase.
Right.
As far as affiliate disclosures, that happens on your affiliate side. So the affiliates running traffic to you, they're responsible for their own disclosure statements. They're responsible for saying this is an affiliate link at whatever point of the funnel they're supporting you. So maybe you have some people funneling traffic to your freebie. Maybe you also have some people funneling traffic to your webinar, right? Or your masterclass that's going to convert and hopefully certain percentage of those people sale. At whatever point people are funneling you traffic, they should also be making the affiliate disclosure if they're affiliates.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That help?
Yes, it does. And,
Okay.
and I'm not sure all of that happened as well as it should have this time around. I think some did and some didn't,
Yeah.
you know, but it's okay. It's still relatively small potatoes. But okay. I thank you.
Yep. No, great question. I know. Practice makes perfect. Okay, Kelly, are you next?
Yes.
Awesome. Good to see you.
Hello. I'm a web designer, and I have a couple questions.
Okay.
The first one is, I if I pierce the corporate veil of my company, I have an LLC. Should I start from, start again and create another company and start from scratch? Or is there something that I can do to repair that?
Got it.
I use my credit card to buy something personal. So that's my first question, because I'm thinking, okay, if I have an LLC, then do I have to change the name and get
good
all
question. So just so I understand, you said you used your personal credit card to purchase something on behalf of your business, and you're concerned that you've pierced the corporate veil?
Yes, my business card to buy a personal.
Oh, got it. Okay. And do you think that there's actual liability, or you're just concerned about the fact that that mistake was made?
I'm concerned about that mistake, because it's something that, if I get audit and then that is there,
Yep.
It's
Understood. So my first question for you is, are you working with somebody who helps prepare your taxes? Do you have a CPA or an accountant that you work with?
Yes, I have a company that they only do
like end of year tax preparation, just review the
yes,
books?
they only do taxes.
Okay. So, because one thing that I highly recommend, especially for anybody really growing a business, is that you select, so just like in the legal world, just like in the medical world, some people look backwards and basically tell you where you're at right now. And some people really look forwards, right? They look forward and they help you plan strategically for where you want to go. That's who you want helping with your taxes and your tax strategy, because they can also help you with your record keeping and help you understand, how to clear mistakes up like that. So my first recommendation is that you connect with somebody who is very used to record keeping for businesses, and also being strategic about, because mistakes do happen. And I'm glad you're paying attention to it and you're asking the question now rather than significantly later. But I would say start first by getting somebody on your team that is really strategic. They're a tax strategist, not just, for lack of a better summary, they don't just help you like with bookkeeping and looking backwards and saying, here's what you've spent, here's what your taxes look like right now, let's make sure that you capture deductions. Like, they really look at what can be done to optimize your scenario looking forward. Kelly, where are you based?
New York State.
New York? Okay. I could probably get some referrals for you based there. Because, when I think of somebody in the entrepreneur, small business building world, like the first people that should be on your, let's call it your team outside of your business, in my mind, and obviously I'm a little biased here, but is a good attorney and a good accountant, a strategic accountant who can help you with not only taxes, but optimizing the future of your business. And you specifically want somebody who can help you plan for where you're going. And in my opinion, there are far too many tax people that just look at where you're at and they don't help you get to where you're going. And so somebody that is more strategic in that way can also help you clear up books, fix mistakes that you've made, and make sure that that's done the right way.
Okay,
does that help? Yeah, so
yeah,
I would say don't make any changes to your business or go dissolving anything until you've talked with a good tax person that knows truly about record keeping. Taxes and record keeping are not my forte. I mean, I can certainly walk people through corporate guidance and corporate governance stuff, but I never get involved in actual records from the standpoint of clearing up other people's work. But a good strategist in the tax world and accountant world could help with that.
Okay, that sounds good. If you can give some referrals, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to type your email into the chat so that I've got it, I always download the chats at the end of this so that I've got, if people want me to have their contact information or want me to follow up with any resources, I can shoot over an email to you. All right, Steve. Oh, go ahead. Kelly, do you have one other thing?
One last question. Doing websites, I buy a disclaimer, but then is that something that do you think I should buy a disclaimer for every company that I do the website to, or?
So let's be clear, you are not responsible as a website designer. You should not be responsible for anybody's legal copy. Absolutely not. There's a lot of liability, and the number of times that I have found businesses and entrepreneurs in violation, having like clear copyright infringement of my work around the world. The number of times people have said, oh, well, my website person just snagged it off of somebody's website, and it will likely be one of my top clients who have, millions of followers. Not an excuse. The business is still on the hook for that. So you do not want to be personally responsible for the legal copy on your client's websites. It's fine if you want to do design, layout, all of that stuff. Absolutely no on the legal copy. So they're responsible for it.
They should, because I work with most very small businesses, startups, and they ask me to help them. So then what I can do is send them to where they can buy it, or...
Totally. The quick answer is nope. I'm not. This is a huge area of liability. I'm not responsible for your legal copy or for your legal terms and conditions. Here are some resources in the marketplace. It's a little bit like the conversation we just had with Stacy. Here are some people that provide it, or some resources that provide it at different levels. You're responsible for vetting what is a fit for your business, right? You are not outsourced legal, and you do not want yourself to be in that position.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Yep, good question. All right, Steve. How are you? I can barely hear you, but hopefully you'll come through. Let's see. Try again. Nope, I'm not hearing you at all. Can anybody else hear him? Let's see. Try again. Are you still on mute? Okay, there you go. I unmuted from my side, but now it says mute. That's weird. Unmute. All right. There I could hear a little.
Now.
Oh, so much better.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. I had some technical, legal, now technical difficulties.
Join the club. I'm having technical difficulties every day, it seems like.
No, thanks. This is great. I've just been told that, deal with it now or just wait till you have a problem and figure it out later. And I've never been one to have that type of thought process.
Yes.
But so I'm a contractor by trade, and now getting into the space of helping other remodeling contractors. So I'm working on a book and be starting I was starting a podcast in the next few months.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. I'm working on some online course stuff.
Okay.
So can you just point me in the direction, like what things, like what's like the bare minimum that I need to have to make sure that I am protected? Because I want to make sure to not put myself, my family, my
Yeah,
Somebody
absolutely.
said even like you don't worry about starting an LLC until you have over $100,000 of revenue, which I mean you so I mean so these are the things that I'm being told, and I know
Yes.
that they're probably not true, and I don't want to go down that
Yeah.
path, but I just
Yep.
there's
No,
just
great
so much
question.
clutter.
So I hear several questions in one, and let's just kind of break them apart. No, that's okay. Where are you based, Steve?
I'm in Idaho.
Okay, yeah, one state over. So what I would recommend, and really from the standpoint of entity creation, right? And the advice that you've received is like so many others, and especially from accountants that are like, oh, no big deal, you're not making enough money to do that yet.
Yeah.
And that's usually the wrong way to look at it. So what I like to ask is, do you have assets? Do you have a home? Do you have bank accounts? Do you have vehicles that you drive? Do you have things that are worth protecting?
Yes.
Yes.
Very much,
Most
much
people,
so, yeah.
Most people at a certain stage start to have those things, right? And so the question is not really relevant around like how much is the business making. It's what do you stand to lose right now if there's a mistake and somebody comes after you, right? You don't want and so from the standpoint of, and what this means is that if you did not set up a separate entity, you would be operating as a sole proprietor. And in all states, sole proprietorships you're essentially considered one and the same, your personal life and your business life, which means your assets are all in the same place, your liabilities are all in the same place. If something went wrong and somebody sued you, they'd be coming after personal assets, right? So it doesn't matter if there's nothing in the business, your personal assets are at stake. So this is where, and for people that live in community property states, now their spouse's assets are on the line, right? So it's a much bigger deal than people tend to think about. And so my answer for you, and there's a couple reasons behind this, is yes, absolutely, yes, set up a separate business entity if this is something that you're committed to, right? And if this is something you're really going forward with, treat it right from the beginning. Yeah, it might take a little bit to set that up, probably not much. Here in Washington, it's a $200 filing fee to set up an LLC. Most people can do that on their own. They would need help with putting an operating agreement in place, maybe doing a couple things as far as business licensing goes. But there's a lot of it that people can do themselves, and it's actually not that expensive. Some states, it's a $50 filing fee, right? I don't know what it is for Idaho. But an LLC tends to be a good model for a lot of people. It's a flexible management structure for one. There's less documentation, less rigorous documentation requirements than there is, for example, with a C Corp. And you have the benefit of making a tax election that can change the way that the business is taxed. So one year you might start off with, and how an LLC is normally treated is that it's passed through taxation, which means that the income flows through the business. You're taxed at the personal level. So you'd be taxed like on your, 1040C. If you don't want it that way, you're welcome, Jessica. Pop a question in if you want me to answer it, because I can still answer it after you're off and then provide access to the recording. So I'm sorry to have missed you, but people are asking great questions, or show up next week. So you can change the tax election status. Like you can make an election to be treated as an S Corp or a C Corp, right? And even for companies that are not yet making a lot of money, if you, for example, already have an income stream through a primary job or something, this is a side gig at first, and you want to make $50,000 your first year and not be taxed on it, you want to hold it in the company, you can make a C Corp, you can elect to be taxed as a C Corp, right? So an LLC has a very flexible management and taxation, taxation options available to it, which can make it really desirable for people that are starting out, especially solopreneurs, small enterprises. So that's something to think about. But the second thing that setting up a business entity from the start does, it really distinguishes those who are like, really saying this is a business, I'm going to do it, I'm going to create this thing, from those who are like, I'm just playing around, we'll just see how this goes. It's the difference kind of between like dipping your toe in the water and really making a full-on commitment to treat this thing like a successful business, right? So even from a mindset perspective, I have found that those who set out and like make the commitment, pay the $200 or $500 or $700, whatever it takes to get that business set up, there's a difference in the way that business grows and develops simply because of the mindset shift. So that's another thing to think about, but I consider it a huge advantage.
Okay, no, thanks. And a lot of it comes from is like I know. I mean, my remodeling business is an LLC, so I understand the whole that whole process. A lot of it is the hang up of like trying to figure out what I want to have what I want to set my business name up as, and so that's the hang up. And so I know I need to.
So don't let that be the hang up. There's usually a workaround. I have plenty of clients and some really well known who their business name is not their brand name. Right. Okay. So your business name could be like 123 Remodeling or whatever. It could be, bye David, good to see you. Thanks for jumping on. It could be some numerical thing that is not searchable or not that well searchable, because the other strategy behind that is you don't want people necessarily being able to find your business. Right. So although, often they can, but you could set your business up as, whatever, 123 ABC, like literally whatever you want to call it. And then register a trade name associated with that LLC. And the trade name could be your brand name. That could be your domain. That could be all of the ways that people know your business, even though your registered business actually has a totally separate name.
Okay. So don't think too
much. Don't overthink it. Yeah. Okay. If you're ready to start it, and I'll just give you an example for me. People know my online brand as the Legal Website Warrior. Hi, sneaker. And, sorry, I've got my little buddy here. The juggling of working and parenting at home with lots of people now. So don't let it keep you stuck, because you can simply register a trade name or a series of trade names, right? And what I was going to say about mine is I'm known as the Legal Website Warrior Online. I have a federally registered trademark around that, but my business is actually registered as HJP Strategies LLC.
Okay.
Right? So pick a name, form the business. You can develop the brand concept if you want to. I don't know if you're immediately launching online, or like you're currently building a course out on Kajabi or Teachable or someplace where you don't really have to have your own domain yet, right? So understand you've got some flexibility, but you could totally be practicing, trying names out on people while you're going through the process of actually setting up your business, and it doesn't have to be the same name.
Okay, no, it's great. So, okay, yeah. Thank you very much.
Yep, absolutely. And then let's talk briefly about what it takes to protect your stuff online, since that's the direction that you're headed. The biggest thing, and basically there's kind of a triad of things that happen online. You're either publishing information, collecting information, or selling, including information online, right? So if you're publishing information, you're sharing tips or expertise, you've got articles or blogs. I'm not sure what your website is going to look like, but presumably you're going to be creating some amount of content to draw in your ideal customers, right?
Yeah.
Let them know that you're an expert in what you're talking about. And so you'd want website terms and conditions to cover the publishing of information. Those are really your website ground rules that tell people what they can do with your information, what to expect, what not to expect, what they can't do with your information. So there's, rules around how people can use what you're sharing on your website. Because the reality is, for all of us, we can know how we intend for people to use our information. We don't ultimately get to control how they actually do use it, and that's where liability comes in the door. So there's actually a lot that gets covered in your website terms and conditions when they're done right. But to keep, for purposes of just teaching what you need, you're presumably going to be collecting information, people's emails, you're going to have some lead magnet or opt-in or some way for them to get on your list and get inside your database, which you absolutely should be doing, but you should not be doing that without a privacy policy. So you're going to want a privacy policy to protect that function online. And then there's a lot in the privacy policy that really just fulfills your obligation as a business owner to let people know what information you're collecting, how you're collecting it, what you're doing with it, how you're keeping it safe, how they can get off your list or modify or update their information if they want to. And then on the selling function, right, that third leg of being online, sometimes it's an online funnel that sells them into active services, like live services, whether it's one-on-one coaching or something else. Sometimes it funnels them into an online course, something that's pre-recorded, like a digital information product, right? Whether it's a download, whether it's a course, etc. So you need terms of purchase in place that protect the intellectual property inside of that program or course. Here's what you can do with the information. Here's what you can't do with the information. And that's one way for people to protect against people ripping off their stuff, running around online and sharing it other places, or just launching a new website imitating what you do, right? You have basically terms of the sale that are enforceable, that they agree to. If you implement them right, best practices are that they check the box, I have read and agree to the terms of purchase, right? And so now you have a contractual way to enforce those terms versus just relying on their personal ethics not to rip off your stuff. And I can tell you how it goes when people rely strictly on personal ethics.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. There's a lot of people online that I'm like, man, personal ethics would really solve most of the problems that we face, but sometimes they're missing.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you very much. So is there, I mean, so you have the different templates. Is there something that you point me towards?
Well, and we might jump on a call. I'm going to do two things for you, Steve. I'm going to give you the link to my calendar so that you can jump on and we could have a one-on-one chat about this, because I do have a template bundle. It is called, and there's my calendar link. It's called the Website Protection Package. I would just want to make sure that I ask you a few questions to make sure that the kind of templated version of this would really work for you. But I will still provide a link to the Website Protection Package so that you can see what's in it. This will also be educational for you from the standpoint of what you need to really be online properly. And it'll be partly a refresher of what we just covered, but has additional stuff as well.
Okay, thanks. I just put in that Calendly link and it said,
did I get it wrong? Calendly.com
could not be found.
Oh, weird.
And I guess I'll redo it.
Try it again. That's definitely the right link, but I wonder if it needs the HTTPS or whatever.
Oh, you know what?
What?
Possibly.
You might just try calendly.com, let it self-populate, but it's just my full name and then /intro.
Okay. I'll check it out here later.
Okay.
I'll let you know if I have any problems. So.
Otherwise, you can just pop your email into the chat and I will follow up with you on it. Here's the page that has my bundles. Right at the top, you're going to see, if I grabbed the live link, let me just do that for you. Right at the top, you're going to see my website protection package. And if you click through on that, it has more information about what's included. And it'll be educational from the standpoint of what most people need for really legitimate online businesses.
This is awesome. I'll book a call, but I appreciate it because this is exactly what I was looking for. I know there's a lot of things that need to be in place just to make sure that we're not, shooting from the hip. So.
Totally. Well, and I appreciate your asking questions at the right stage in the game. Steve, I always like to ask, how'd you get connected to me? How'd you end up on my list?
I think I got connected through Bushra.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I think I saw you guys. You were on one of her
training calls.
Well, yeah, training calls and stuff. So yeah. So
awesome.
I was like, I need to chat with her. No.
Yeah.
So.
Well, awesome. I love to know how people find me. Appreciate that. And there's the live link to my calendar if you need it. It kind of does a weird thing with the numbers, but.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. Any other questions? Otherwise, we can just schedule a call.
Yeah, I'll just schedule a call. I appreciate this. Yeah, this definitely gets me going. I'll make sure and get on your calendar here quickly. So
perfect. All right.
I need to get going.
No worries.
And so thank you very much.
Good to see you. Good to connect with you.
You as well. All right. Bye.
All right. Kelly, thanks for your email as well. And we've got John C. on the line. John, do you have any questions? We've so far been going through everybody else, but I want to make sure you have a chance before we sign off. Good questions today, you guys. And John, you're welcome. I don't know if you're in a place to be able to chat.
There's a dog in this house.
There's a dog in the house. Thanks, Henley. You're so cute. Mommy's almost done with the call. If you also want to pop a question into the chat, I'm happy to do that because I know sometimes people join and they're not able to actually be live on the call. So let me know, John. We're going to give you another minute here. If you've got a question, pop it into the chat. Otherwise, you're welcome to unmute if you feel like joining the call and asking a question. Very happy to try to help you today. And ladies, in the meanwhile, Kelly or Stacy, if you have anything else you want to ask, jump in. Are you taking off? Kelly, I'll follow up via email, okay?
Yes. And in my previous question, I had asked about disclaimers on the website.
Oh, yeah.
Does that apply also for privacy policies?
Yeah, any of their legal documents, you just should be washing your hands of. That is not within, and really arguably it could be the unlicensed practice of law. So that's the tricky part is that, you don't want to be caught, especially if something goes wrong, being responsible for those terms on behalf of another person's business.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
they need to be singularly responsible for choosing their legal provider or wherever they get their templates. I mean, you can let them know what you've seen in the marketplace, but I honestly wouldn't be giving any advice around those things.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. All right, John, were you able to unmute?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you a little bit. I'm going to listen carefully.
Visitor from Canada.
Oh, hi, John. Welcome. I have lots of clients in Canada.
I missed your previous Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've been able to see what you're doing.
Oh, excellent. Well, happy to have you here. What are you doing, John? What are you up to as far as work?
I'm retired. I'm a past history in small business, set up the Canadian Federation of Independent Business,
Oh, awesome.
equivalent of the National Federation of Independent Business.
Okay. Well, how can I help you today?
Well, I just wanted to see what you were doing because it is something that is needed.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So
How did we get connected?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But you caught my attention a couple of months ago. There was always a conflict of. I might suggest that you give an earlier notice of your Zoom meeting.
I would definitely agree with that. You should know that I have been running everything by the skin of my teeth for the last couple months.
I know how that is. Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur myself, doing it solo for startups.
Oh my goodness! It's been yes.
Over your shoulder, is that a girl?
That's my little girl. She's 2, and I have.
Oh, she's sweet. She's well behaved.
She is a good one, and I have a very busy 7-year-old upstairs who's special needs.
Oh.
My husband's an essential employee at his work, so my work is really subject to his schedule because he has to go in daily. So there are times where I'm trying to work and stay, on top of 2 little ones at home. So everything happens lately by the skin of my teeth, but I will try to more provide more advance notice on those calls. Sometimes it's just because my schedule is literally so crazy. I don't know until the morning of, like, can I do this call today? It's my
well,
home.
because I'm retired, I can cover a lot of ground for information.
Yes.
But I am up to a project, but I'm just at the early stages.
Okay.
But I'll tune in again.
No worries. We'll be in touch. I'm happy to help. If you're in Canada, we likely have some mutual friends. Usually most people find me through various people that I'm already connected with. So that definitely could be the case. Are you in Calgary?
No, I'm near Niagara Falls, but I lived in Vancouver. I lived in Vancouver for 14 years in business there.
Okay.
I've been to Seattle many times. I have a few friends there.
Oh, nice.
And, I miss the coast something terrible.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. Well, welcome. I'm happy to be introduced to you today, and just be in touch if I can help you or if I can round up resources for you. I'm happy to be a connector.
Do you get contacts from Canadians?
Mm-hmm.
For wanting your bundle?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing that my clients tend to have in common is that they, regardless of where actually, and even around the world, they have usually a significant percentage of their audience or their list based in the US. So I've got clients in Canada that, have large lists. They host events, including sometimes in the US, lots of online events, but because of that and just the heavy, US-Canada relationships, they often need to know all the rules about being online, including engaging in marketing in the US. So that's where my website protection package ends up being a really good fit for people, including around the world if they're doing very similar kinds of things.
Well, I appreciate getting a chance to talk with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be connected. Pop on another time if you have a chance, and just let me know if you need anything.
Little earlier notice, I probably will.
Okay.
I always notice it just after it's over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I'm gonna be trying to do a really early Monday mailing. Like my mailing this morning went out at 6 a.m. I realize you guys are 3 hours ahead, but even on the weekend if I can. It's just so hard. I get so slammed on the weekend. But
You can't do it a day before notice?
I will be working more to do that. What it means is that I have to be planning far enough in advance that I'm on top of my mailings and my my strategies for the whole week.
Yeah, I know. There's so much to do, change, etc.
Well,
How's
and
your,
I
are you,
really was committed to doing my calls on Mondays, which has been fun, and I've had several calls that have gone really well and have been well attended. But like I've had a couple things that have thrown monkey wrenches into my schedule the last few Mondays, including a mastermind that I'm a part of, and so it's been kind of wild.
well, I'll leave you to make the adjustments.
Yes, no worries. Thanks for your feedback, John. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
take care.